Hey guys, tonight we're driving the 2022 BMW iX. This is BMW's new fully electric SUV. It goes about 324 miles on a full charge, has 516 horsepower. It's all-wheel drive, of course. This one starts at about $84,000 and is spec'd up to about 104 grand, so it's got about $20,000 worth of options. I wanted to give you guys some first impressions on what this has been like on my first day with the new iX. I'm filming this at night, so hopefully we can see less of this horrendous looking front end. But otherwise, I'm finding this to be a really, really impressive car to live with and to drive and to experience. We're going to be doing a full daytime review with this so we can see some more details and a little bit more clarity of the interior, which is very impressive on this iX. But for now, let's start off. We'll do a little bit of a night drive. I wanted to show you the interior ambient lighting, the tail lights, the headlights, these little side lights, and just show you what this iX is like and discuss briefly some of my first impressions. So let's hop inside, we'll start it up and walk you around, and then we'll take it for a drive. So the first thing that really strikes you is this interior. Well, actually the first thing that strikes you in the gut is the front end. But secondly, this interior is absolutely stunning. We have this two-spoke, kind of strangely shaped steering wheel. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of the C8 Corvette wheel. Feels kind of the same in hand too. Very minimalist design with two big wide screens in the dashboard, and just kind of these slab style doors. There's Alcantara everywhere, crystal buttons for your seat memory settings and your seat adjustments. We don't even have a door handle, we have a door opening button, and if that breaks, there's a physical handle down here, but I don't think you'll really need to use that. Pretty impressive stuff with this iX. Tons of interior space and volume. The back seats are just cavernous. A completely flat floor. There's really a lot of room in this SUV. Actually, let's open up the trunk and show you what that looks like. Not as much room in the trunk as I was expecting. We do have this carbon tub, this carbon structure to save weight. Still weighs about almost 5,700 pounds, so it's not light, but it could be heavier. No spare tire, of course, this being a modern electric vehicle. That space is taken up with batteries and electric motors. This iX is equipped with air suspension, so it can raise up just a little bit for some more off-road capability. Back seats are very cool though. You have a little armrest here. Again, we'll show you more of this during the day where you can get a better idea for the materials and coloring of this interior. It is quite special. Okay, so we have to start it up. There is a stop-start button in this iX, much like the i4 that we tested a couple weeks ago. Let's turn on our interior lighting so we can see a little bit better. So we have a similar infotainment, a similar BMW iDrive system that we had in the i4. It's very minimal. We don't have physical climate controls in this car, so that's all down to a climate menu. When you first see this, all the buttons kind of blend together. I had a passenger in here the other day, and he didn't know what to do with any of this. Climate auto, you're done. But once you get used to the controls, they're pretty straightforward. You've got controls here for a heated steering wheel. I believe the second option is for the radiant heating function in this iX. Not 100% sure on that, but that is a feature here. We have heated seats and unfortunately no ventilated seats in this iX. But we do get all of our other climate controls here, and then this side to the right is for the passenger. Not the most intuitive, but at least whatever menu or setting that you're in the iX, you can always access that climate menu, make an adjustment, press the climate menu button again, and you're back to where you were before. We also have a slightly different arrangement of buttons here for the iDrive controls. Not similar to other BMWs. If you have another BMW in your garage, you're gonna have to reprogram your muscle memory on this and kind of figure out the back button is in a different location, the home button's in a different location, media, telephone, navigation, quick access controls are all in different spots. So a A little bit annoying that they changed that up. I really liked what they had going before, but it is what it is. They're all pretty straightforward buttons. You have a few quick access controls for a parking camera, which is nice. Your driving settings, so you can change your driving assistance, turn on lane departure warning, turn on the fake electric car sounds, which sound kind of cool. That also varies between drive modes, of which you have a quick access control there too, between personal, sport, and efficient. We'll start off in personal. We have a pretty traditional shifter with this tiny little crystal knob. You just press the parking brake button to put it into park. Reverse shows you your reverse cameras, panoramic views. You have a bunch of different parking camera settings there. You can put this in drive or B, which is regenerative braking mode. It'll default to just a drive, which will coast forward like a normal car. If you want to put it into regenerative braking mode, you have to pull back on the shifter, and then it will come to a complete stop off throttle, and you can one pedal drive this BMW iX. In here, you've got a pretty straightforward center display. Again, the gauges change depending on what drive mode you're in, but they just show basic information like they show. We have 324 miles of driving range on 99% charge, which seems to be pretty accurate. The range in this iX is pretty impressive. It has a huge, huge battery. We have some slightly different cruise control and steering wheel controls here. We'll show you guys those on the highway, or maybe just in the day drive, because you can't really see a whole lot here. Couple seat memory settings, and then you can really only adjust the backrest and your bottom cushion with these controls. If you want more adjustability, you have to press this driver's seat menu option, and you can go in and adjust lumbar and everything here through the touchscreen. Otherwise, this interior feels like I'm sitting in the combination of a concept car and a cargo van. It's just so open. There's no center area here. It's just a kind of a flat pass-through, which is interesting because you can't really put anything down there because it would roll into your pedals. So it's nice. It feels cool. There's tons of room for the passenger and even more room in the back seats. You can see we get this ambient lighting here on the door sill. You'll notice that that'll change throughout the drive as we adjust our drive modes. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's take this on the road and see how it feels behind the wheel. You can see we have a pretty large, high resolution and color head-up display. And there is just a little bit of propulsion sound. Everything about this iX feels open and spacious, and it's actually surprisingly quiet. I'm going to start us off in efficient mode because it's completely silent, and it just showcases how quiet this car is to drive. It's very, very impressive. It retains this level of road noise, NVH, driving volume up until about 80 or 90 miles per hour. It seems like no matter what speed you're going, it's always about this quiet, which is pretty amazing. I think this is one of the most refined electric car driving experiences I've ever had. We just drove a Tesla Model X, and compared to this, that feels like a tin can. There are definitely some cheaper materials and cost cutting that you can see that BMW has done with this iX, but you don't see it anywhere in the driving experience. The way this thing rides down the road and just completely isolates you is pretty amazing. It's next level stuff from BMW. This feels like Rolls-Royce, Bentley levels of quietness, ride comfort. The dynamics here too are very impressive. Plenty of power. Steering feel is great. I actually think this drives better than the i4. Of course, this is a ground-up EV, so that helps. Listen how quiet that is. Alright, so we can engage our assisted driving mode here, which will steer for us. adjust our speed quickly, 5-mile-an-hour increments, 1-mile-an-hour increments, all very easy. The system will change lanes for us too. And there are probably some infrared sensors that you can see through the camera that I can't. There's probably one right here. It's flashing purple at you, tracking my eyes, sensing whether I'm paying attention to the road or not. My only complaint about this head-up display is you can't see it while wearing polarized sunglasses. And it really perplexes me as to why BMW does this, because I bet about 90% of BMW owners drive with polarized sunglasses. Why wouldn't you? It just makes sense. It's a better way to shade your eyes. And the fact that the polarization just doesn't work with this head-up display is still a disappointment for me in BMWs. Other manufacturers get it right. Why can't BMW figure it out? Okay, so that was efficient mode. Completely quiet, very silent. Let's put us into sport. You can see our ambient lighting changes. Our door sill lighting turns to red. Our footwell lighting turns to blue. And we get some fake electric drive sounds from the speakers. Let's also put us into B mode, which is for regenerative braking, and we can one-pedal drive. All right, sport mode, regenerative braking. BMW did a much better job tuning the throttle response in this iX compared to the i4. It's not as neck-snappingly instant when you get on the gas or get on the accelerator pedal. For a 5,600-pound SUV, the handling is sublime. You feel the lower center of gravity. You feel just a much better tuned chassis with this iX. I don't have front wheel spin or front wheel drive characteristics in this like I did with the i4. Regen off throttle is very strong. Little pull here. I do wish the speedometer updated a little bit quicker. It's strange seeing all those miles per hour skip. Assisted driving seems to work quite well. You can quickly change between distance control and assisted driving mode, which I appreciate. When it does prompt you to put your hands on the steering wheel, all you have to do is pretty much just touch it. The sensors in there will sense the energy from your fingers. You can turn everything off very easily. I love the steering wheel cruise control controls. They work great. This thing is quick. Really nice steering weight. Pretty good steering feel too for an SUV. Combine the sound and the feel of this really does feel like something from the future. This is really next level stuff from BMW. As far as an EV driving experience, this might be my favorite EV to drive yet. That's a pretty tall compliment. The only thing I don't like about it is it's freaking hideous. The front end is just offensive. They could have made it good looking, and they chose to make it look like that. They chose to make it look like a beaver. I don't know, just get it in black or something. Because this is such a good electric vehicle to drive. Check this out, this is neat. So, unfortunately you have to look at the front end to see this, but when you set off in your My BMW menu, the wheels will start spinning when you start moving, and when you stop, the wheels will stop in the graphic. That's fun. I like that. Let's change our drive mode. You've heard the propulsion sound or whatever it is long enough. Let's go into personal, and we can change our settings. We can turn off iconic sounds. which I actually kind of prefer. So also, let's explore this. Let's go back into drive. There is an adaptive regenerative braking mode in this iX. So if a vehicle in front of you slows down, normally in drive, it's just going to coast. And it will coast forever. The efficiency in this BMW is amazing. You let off the throttle pedal, and it just goes and goes and goes. But with this adaptive regenerative braking, if there's a car in front of you, it will slow down to match the speed of the car. It's kind of weird and kind of freaky at first, and it does take some getting used to because it's inconsistent with how much the regenerative braking system slows down, and it's just based. It's like a halfway adaptive cruise control system almost, but it's based on what vehicles in front of you are doing. So I'm a little bit mixed on whether I like it or not. I've honestly mostly been driving this iX in B mode, but that's kind of a problem because whenever you switch into reverse to make a parking maneuver or something, you're put back into drive, and you have to remember to cover the brake pedal, and you can't one pedal drive your iX anymore. You have to, in low speed environments, you have to kind of retune your brain to drive it in a coast setting or in a creep setting. So I don't know, I'm a little bit torn on the B versus D drive modes in this iX. You can turn off that adaptive regenerative braking setting in the menu somewhere, but this week I've left it on just to kind of experience it and see if I like it. We've driven a lot of EVs lately, and it really just goes to show not much on the road is as fast as an electric vehicle. It's really pretty amazing. The speed and just the revolutionary driving experience you get from an EV. It really changes things up. From one pedal driving to just the gaps that you can shoot in traffic with an electric motor, the instantaneous response from electric motors, and an all-wheel drive system that can put all of that power down. It's really, really quite something. I think this iX, for the price, does it just about as good as it can be. I haven't driven all the EV offerings, and of course, for $100,000, you're getting diminishing returns on value and everything. But for what this offers, the interior quality, the feel, the quietness, I don't know. I think BMW really hit this out of the park. They did a really nice job developing this, and it shows that with a ground-up EV platform, they can do a lot. Let's just take a minute to appreciate the silence here. Wow. Steering is really good. It's very light at low speeds, and it weights up beautifully around corners. Pretty impressive stuff. Efficient. I'm getting more used to the controls down here. So silent. I could make this video a whisper binaural audio ASMR video if I wanted to. Also, I'm noticing just a little bit of a different resistance with the turn signals, the feel of the buttons, the switchgear in this iX points to future decisions in BMW's lineup and the way things will probably feel going forward. I honestly kind of can't believe that this only starts at $84,000. And as tested with $20,000 in options, pretty much fully loaded, it's only a little over 100 grand. To me, for what this is, that seems like excellent value. It's a pretty big, spacious SUV. The only place where it's lacking is that it doesn't have a frunk, and the trunk area isn't massive, but it's enough. It's big enough. Everywhere else, you get a ton of storage in this thing. Driving this in normal drive mode is quite nice too. It feels like a normal car. Brake pedal feels excellent. Nice modulation. You can really control your stopping and your going easily in this car. And it launches like a maniac. All right, so we'll pull over here. Put us into park. That's going to be a wrap. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.